Bitcoin is pumping, and you don't want to be caught on the sidelines as these three alts just explode. We're going to identify which are going to be the big winners in the coming weeks ahead. Before we get into the Bitcoin halving, it's time to discover crypto.
Ow!
Capital flight is coming to the United States. The dollar is going to zero.
And that's what makes Bitcoin so special.
You have to have gone through a couple cycles to understand.
Once the price is able to clear this level, the breakout is on its way.
This is your indication to jump in now.
It's one of those green days, and it took everything in my power to not just start with a dance party, everybody. Bitcoin has been pumping. We're looking at a couple alts that have just been exploding recently, including some old favorites. I'm going to go ahead and drop one of the names, Vechain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, Nick, you bought I remember we were talking about Vechain back at like 3 years ago. Are you still a holder of Vechain?
No.
Were you a holder back then in 21?
Yeah, I took healthy profits on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Took some profits on that. I remember looking at Vechain. I remember thinking it will never go below 5 cents. And right now we're knocking on the 5 cent door, and everyone is feeling bullish. Vechain, a couple other big alts, and one of the alts is one of your picks, and it's just been a huge winner.
It's been a ripper. Vechain was another one that was a real big favorite of mine. I sold it at like 16 cents in the last bull run.
Okay.
So I still hold like some. I think I probably have like maybe a few thousand tokens on my ledger. But other than that, I did miss out on that. I think what 24 cents, 25 cents was its
it was
all-time
right around
high.
25 cents.
So did get out of that pretty early, but was still a really, really good play because we bought in at around a penny, and that was still my parents' best play yet that I got him into was Vechain, was that first one, like I mentioned. So they're excited today. My dad was already texting me.
That's not even the coin I was talking about. I'm talking about the one that you told people to stack early on.
Yes.
And they're up like 7x. STAX is also one of the big winners today. But folks, let's just get right into the crypto market right here. You can see Bitcoin now feels like it's relatively flat. It's only up 0.5%, but it was, oh wow, that is why right there. It looks like we did a nice healthy retracement. You know, it's funny. I did a scalp short, but I got stopped out, and my other short played out well. And that was the Say scalp short there. Oh man, if I just had a little bit higher, liquidation, or I'm sorry, stop loss there, I would have been good. But yeah, Bitcoin still in the green, 0.5%. Ethereum up 3.1%. Look at BNB. BNB is up nearly 10%. Now, Nick, I was looking at the charts here. BNB largely has just been lagging behind some of its peers. While other coins were pumping 10%, 5%, BNB would pump 3%, 1%. Finally, the BNB Bitcoin trading pairs finally caught up, and the BNB ETH trading pairs caught up. So BNB, a really good winner today. Solana, retracement. Solana is down 2.3%. XRP is up 2.5%. Go ahead, celebrate that victory, XRP holders who you've just been looking at the Solana holders making fun of you. For pretty much every day for the past 12 months. Well, today's your day to shine, everybody. You got about a 5% differential here.
Wow, congratulations.
And the biggest winner after BNB in the top 10, Cardano. Cardano is up 4.8%, looking good right there.
Nice.
But I said we're going to talk about some alts. Look at Vechain, everybody. Vechain is up. It was nearly 30% at one point. Vechain is up 50%. Now, I think actually I have a little video I'm going to go ahead and play. This is the Vechain founder right here, kind of talking about why Vechain is pumping. I might cut it a little early here.
I left.
Well, you got to reset it.
I've got to hit the reset. All right, so this guy, he's just going to basically talk about his background right here and essentially how his connections is what got Vechain to where it is today.
You got to close.
When I left Louis Vuitton, I built up the Vechain.
Wait a minute. When I left Louis Vuitton, hey, I think I've heard of that company.
Louis Vuitton, I built up the Vechain. So the first client, the first business user I engaged is for sure using my personal connections, right? So I know the CEO of Givenchy globally, and at that time he was my direct boss. I was working Louis Vuitton, and also he's my mentor now. So I knocked the door and tried to spend some time with him, try to tell him what blockchain is, how blockchain can do. And after 20 minutes, he's like, no, stop. I don't want to say
No, you know what? Too much, man.
Okay, but just tell me what.
Bro, you lost me at Immutable Ledger, but the Vechain, he was early with the luxury brands, and then his whole ethos is basically, I'm going to use this blockchain technology to help supply chain logistics, and then just seeing where Vechain is. So a lot of people holding that coin for a long time. Kind of reminds me of XRP. You know, a lot of these other coins have been pumping new all-time highs. Vechain, you're still way down. I think you're still down, 25 cents to 5 cents. You're still down 80%.
Yeah.
But you know what? You got a victory today. Just go ahead and celebrate.
Yeah, no, Sonny, and again, coming from Louis Vuitton, Vechain has actually some of the biggest partnerships too in Asia. I mean, you're looking at partnering with BMW, Walmart of China, massive breakthroughs. They were also a huge help around the COVID-19 vaccinations that were taking place there. Now, obviously, there's a lot of mixed opinions on that, but when you have that many users and that big of a user base, whatever supply chain it is, that is where Sonny Lu is looking to specialize in that specific industry. So cool to see coming out for Vechain. You also had Helium, I believe, in the top 3. And Beam at 55.8%.
Beam, I have a little Beam. I don't have enough Beam. I almost want to buy more, but I hate just buying a pump right here. Aptos is also moving. Aptos is going to move after Say a lot of the time. They kind of move in tandem, but really the game is going to be, all right, Say pumps, Aptos pump. What is the next thing to pump? I got a couple ideas here, and you know what? They're not in the biggest gainers, so it kind of makes me feel like I like my conviction play here. I can see Near Protocol being one of those other ones to pump. And basically, the narrative that is pumping right now, it's Solana competitors. You could say Ethereum competitors as well. I would say L1 ecosystem, strong L1 ecosystems with fast transaction times. That seems to be what's pumping right now. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see Near outperform its peers tomorrow. Now, Bitcoin could dump and everything could be down, but I think Near might be an outperformer tomorrow. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Now, before I show this next token that I've been talking about for a long time, we just actually hit a 7x, guys, which was massive on this altcoin that we picked up about 46 cents. Make sure you smash that like button, guys. We got 500 amazing, beautiful people in here right now supporting the channel. Guys, tap that like button. If we push it up to 300 likes, I'll show you a hidden gem that is also focusing on supply chains later in this video, in this live stream for you guys. So make sure you guys smash that like button. But the project I'm talking about that we just hit a 7x, guys, on is none other than STAX, STX. So this was a call very early on in the Discord here at 49 cents back in July. It has absolutely just continued to rip. And the reason is, I pulled up a couple videos here. This is a 4-second clip of just Coin Bureau interviewing both Raoul Pal and, of course, Tim Draper. And he went on to say this.
I'm really pretty excited about STAX.
So, it's only a 4-second clip right there before I show you the longer one. But the takeaway was, for months and in last July, we were looking at the overall FDV. What FDV is fully diluted value. All you need to know what that means, if you're new to crypto, guys, is what layer 2s were compared to layer 1. So what Polygon Matic was compared to Ethereum. And in Ethereum's ecosystem, those layer 2s would make up 20 to 40% of its market cap, like in comparison to everything developing on top of it. And that's at the peak of last bull run. Bitcoin is like percentage points. It's tiny. Yet we had the spot ETFs. We had the financial products. We have the Bitcoin halving. Wall Street's in love with it. Developers are growing on it. Transactions are growing. Ordinals were exploding. Right? This was the vision that we had with the Bitcoin layer 2s, that it was going to be needed for scalability. Yes, it might not be as fast as Ethereum or Solana or Say, these other ones that we're going to talk about later in this video, but the development is there, and that is what's important. So here is, for you guys that don't know, we do got to get rid of Bitcoin in the chats. It's not the good Bitcoin. That was the wrong Bitcoin. That was a Bitcoin SV. That was Craig Wright in the chat, I guess. But we have Bitcoin is open, mind, and neutral. So here's a little quick 30-second clip on what STAX does for Bitcoin, guys. And I hope it opens your eyes a little bit.
What the market still doesn't realize is the number one thing about Bitcoin is that it is open and neutral. What do we mean by that? So think of it this way, that the Bitcoin network doesn't differentiate or doesn't discriminate against anyone. You could have any passport in the world, you could be from any background, you could be using Bitcoin for whatever reason that you want. The network is not going to discriminate against you.
So his perspective here, of course, is in this entire panel. I really recommend you go watch that entire panel. You can find on stacks.bitcoin on Twitter. They're essentially talking about the growth around Bitcoin layer 2s and the reason why building on top of Bitcoin and figuring how to build on top of Bitcoin and integrate those smart contracts is so important. It's because of the decentralization it has geographically. Bitcoin is by far the most decentralized network. Yes, there is centralization issues between mempools, but as you've seen with Ethereum or Solana's and really any other single network, they will claim to be decentralized, But the reality is when the transactions and they have the size and volume that Bitcoin sees, they become very, very centralized very, very quickly. And it just completely eliminates all aspects of true decentralization. And in fact, sometimes the networks like Ethereum, I think 85% of the nodes are ran by one entity. So something you should just watch out for. That's not necessarily something I'm scared of at all. It's just something I'm aware of. It makes me incredibly bullish on the development within Bitcoin's ecosystem.
Yeah, because you have a lot of miners out there help secure a network. You'd have 10,000 Nick Demandis can just get replaced by one whale. And so when there's... Say what?
Impossible.
Well, you know what? As far as his heart goes, yeah, never. But when it comes to amount of tokens, securing a network, yeah, the whales can come in. So when you have these... Well, what's the number we would say where you don't have to worry about big whales? I mean, once you get into like the low billions, then it's not so much an issue there.
Once
but
it's legitimate,
once you're around 100 million, 200 million, a Justin Sun clone just come in and totally take over
lowers
an
the
ecosystem.
risk. I did want to shout out one other crypto project here, though, because it's just ripping right now. It was Data Lake, the Desci community. We've been talking about decentralized science for a long time. In fact, we got someone on the couch that might be joining us tomorrow. That's also in depth on Desci as well. But guys, 33.3 cents. This is up like 124%. It went down from 0.017. Yeah, so it's up 100%, almost hit 0.04 cents just the other day. There's some movements taking place in Desci. It feels good. Markets are vibing. So shout out to anybody that's in the Lake community. I know a lot of people in our Discord are.
Big shout out. But we do have a couple losers we want to look at real quick. And nothing's fallen down too much, but Pith is down. Pith is down 3.4%. But when you look at the weekly, it's up 30%. So it's just peeled off a little more than 10% of its weekly gains. Bitcoin Cash is in here as well. So it's not just BSV, BCH, being chattered about right now. And Astar is down. It looks like Polkadot ecosystem. Some of these plays are down. TIA down 2.8%. TIA is red for the week, so that might be on the contender list for DCA tomorrow. Because there's really, now we're getting into this overheated territories. Might be a week or two you could take off DCA. It isn't going to hurt you there. But let's talk about the main story. Well, we got Kelly here too, folks. We're going to look at gold real quick. Kelly, maybe you can find an interesting gold chart. I don't know if there's any kind of Bitcoin gold trading pairs out there, but this is the live charts for gold. This is Kitco. They superimpose those at 3 days here, 4 days with the gray. This is 2-3 days ago, blue line. You see February 13th, big sharp decline that looks like a breach of an altcoin there. The green line is today. We fell below $2,000, but gold has just passed 2K. What are we looking at here? Just about an hour or two ago. So gold is now past 2K. All the gold bugs, go ahead and celebrate. But wait a minute. What are we seeing with gold ETFs right here? Bitcoin ETFs attract $4 billion. What happened to the gold ETFs? They lost $3 billion. Are we seeing the shift here? Are we seeing the paradigm shift?
Let us know. Would you buy Bitcoin or gold? Would you buy Bitcoin or gold? Because Wall Street right now, guys, is buying way more Bitcoin. So Bitcoin or gold, let us know in the chat.
Can I buy both?
No, you get to choose one. If you had to choose one, what would you buy? Bitcoin or gold?
Gold.
No, not trash. Bitcoin or gold?
Well, I'm buying Bitcoin, of course. I would buy Bitcoin. I have a little gold, but I would buy Bitcoin. I would buy silver over gold. Historically considered a safe haven asset, gold has seen outflows from its ETFs. Looks like $3 billion of outflows from the various gold ETFs year to date, and approximately $9 billion over the past 12 months have left the gold ecosystem here. Specifically, these gold shares and iShares, this is BlackRock's gold trust, witnessed $2.5 billion and $500 million worth of outflows year to date, respectively, with the gold prices dropping 3% year to date. But now you see, we just bumped above 2K here. On the other end of the spectrum, Bitcoin is standing out. They've seen inflows of $4 billion of ETFs. Remarkable feat considering it just started trading on January 11th here. Benchmarking against gold, Bitcoin's recent crossing of the $1 trillion asset mark is noteworthy, especially when you look at gold's $13 trillion. Imagine this shift, everybody. Bitcoin, just a casual 13x from these levels. That gives you roughly $670,000 Bitcoin. Quick back of the napkin math there. Maybe it's a little bit off. No, it's around there. 675K. We do have Kelly in the charts. Oh, wait a minute. One more gold. Bitcoin might reach 700K if this happens, according to Adam Back.
And Kelly, please tell us how it's going to get there.
And that's if it surpasses gold's market cap. So yeah, if it can end up reaching gold's, number one asset in the world market cap. Sorry, Saudi Aramco. Sorry, Microsoft. Sorry, Apple. Gold's number one. But I think deep down it will be Bitcoin. It's just a matter of when, not if. But Kelly, we have Kelly on the charts today. He's deciphering these charts. I know using I'm so mad, man, that Bitcoin, that little spike stopped me out of my short. I saw it perfectly on the Lux Algo indicator. I did have a say short that paid off. So, more than offset the little stop loss there. But Kelly, what are the charts telling you?
Well, first off, how's everybody doing today? We're still pumping. We're holding up some key levels, but let's start with gold since we are just on that topic.
Yeah, man.
We'll jump in. I got some charts
gold
to show
bugs
you.
Here.
Right here. This is the basically GLD Gold Trust on the spider on the markets. But we can see we have a flat level of resistance up here on this. This is a 1 week chart. We do have this rising level of support. So we are getting a little bit of a rejection here, but this immediate
That's a
interest
make or
we
break
have.
moment. Yeah, we got a make or break moment happening with gold. You said this is the daily, Kelly, or is this 3 days?
This is a weekly.
Oh, this is the week. Wow. Okay, so this is going to be a major move. Now, historically speaking, I'm seeing, what is that? A ascending triangle, correct? Is that the correct terminology there?
Yeah, we have a rising level of support. And yes, we did get rejected here, which we've done several times. It's going to be interesting to see if gold comes down here, if this is just a narrative focus right now on Bitcoin because it's new, if this is going to bounce back up or lose this level. That's going to be it's an interesting thing to watch, because if this does lose this level, this may also be one of those things that furthers this sort of speculation about the pivot that could be happening at some point. I think it will, to Bitcoin truly being the dominant safe haven asset. So we're going to have to watch this.
Historically speaking, how does that chart typically play out?
Well, historically speaking, I mean, this goes back.
Is this a downside, upside probability here?
This is August. This right here is August 2020. And we've had a lot of basically sideways range with the liquidity washout to the downside. And we're just tapping up in this. So this does look like it's building some bullish pressure. If I had to guess, my bullish narrative on Bitcoin wants this to break down, but if I had to guess, this is going to find some support in here. And in reality, Bitcoin's going to run in tandem with a lot of these other assets. A lot of super Bitcoin maxis think Bitcoin's just going to run away from every asset. In reality, over the next 15 years, I think things will run still somewhat in parallel, but Bitcoin will be the best performing asset. But let's talk about that real quick. Let's come back over to this chart right here. If we're wondering if we're overheated on a macro level yet, the funding rates, meaning this is a great way to gauge how many people are betting long or betting short. And we can see this has been flat with some deviations to the downside with the FTX collapse. And then this sell-off right here until the bank collapse when we got the price actually coming back up. But the funding rate's still relatively low, even though we're so high. So, high comparatively with the market cycle low. So we've got a lot of room to run. The market's still relatively healthy. I know you guys are going to be talking about this, but we just have to show it because it feels so good. Look at this, plus 12,000 Bitcoin yesterday alone. This narrative, guys, what we need to understand here, I want to tie this back to this first chart I just showed. This is interesting. I did not notice this. Particularly, Fidelity is directly participating in the market. So is Fidelity buying direct off exchange, or at least a portion of that? Are we going to see that narrative switch? Because we already in a bit of a supply crunch, even with a lot of these orders being fulfilled on OTC. This could be the Mac Daddy of God candles coming when that OTC market dries up and the GBTC stops rotating. And I just wanted to point this out. Michael Saylor is up they have $10 billion worth of Bitcoin now. Okay, this is just incredible. This is something I think everybody should be paying attention to. This is a short-term holder supply. So this is a great gauge to see when retail's really entering the market. As we can see where we're at right here, this is relative to, think about this sort of low back here. We had rise, dump, rise. Similarly, rise, dump, rise. And this correlates to the halving area and then the market cycle peak. And we have not even gotten to the halving yet. I do think this time the structure is going to be a little bit different because of all this new interest coming in. We may not get that 40% sell-off like we were considering a month ago. We may just be getting these 20% drops, maybe one larger flush out, but I'm getting less thoughtful of the price action really having a substantial drop between now and post-halving because there's so much on the table. Now, as the ETF for ETH heats up, that may actually be a spark of some capital rotation out of Bitcoin into Ethereum for a period, which could see a little bit of a sell-off. But what does it look like on the price right now. Again, this is just showing that retail has not really
paper hands. Yeah, paper hands. I mean, you can see when paper hands were exiting the most, that was the perfect time to buy. When the paper hands were buying the most, perfect time to sell. And I mean, paper hands is pretty low right now, so it still seems like a good opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, we got so much room to go. Now, where we're at right now, I mean, this is just doing what it needs to do, stair-stepping up. And I want to point something out. This is important for market structure. This is, you see how these impulses to the upside right here, again, impulse up, where we come back, we tested the previous high. Push up, where we come back, tested the previous high. Pushing up, are we going to get a test back down and defend this $50,000 area, which is also where we have a large order block here on the BITLAB trading stack, and the VWAP is right here above 50,000 as well. Excuse me. This could signify, again, don't get scared if we do get some sort of washout to the downside, because we did get a very quick move up here. So this is feeling good, but be a little bit cautious for a potential pullback. Now, a lot of people are buying and shorting, and you know what? A lot of people are also doing, DZ. A lot of people are also losing a lot of money in this market.
Yeah, they are,
because they're trying to catch absolutely every move. So when we're looking at this chart, I am looking for buy opportunities rather than shorting this to the downside. I'm waiting for this to come to the downside to find my next long. That's where my main focus is. Now, the next thing I want to share here is looking at Ethereum. Ethereum on the 4-hour basis here, 4-hour Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. This is breaking out of this sort of midterm move. This is good. We still have negative money flow here on this, which is kind of surprising, but this could be signaling a bigger move, and altcoins is coming. And when we look at what did I want to show you? This chart right here, not gold. The total 3 market cap. We had this rising channel. And I was calling out right in this zone that watch for a little bit of a break to the downside. And then, you know, where do the bulls in the altcoin market defend? And they did defend right here on this previous range low, right on this order block. And the altcoin market is looking like it's pushing higher, but we're getting decreased volume. So excited as I am, I'm still a little bit cautious. Now, you know what? I mean, I couldn't be more bullish. I wanted to show you. That's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you SEI, because that has been ripping lately. And this chart with the green line, this is where, and I shared this in the BITLAB Discord. I shared a whole portfolio I put together a little while back, talked about these entries, and say this is where I added to this. And this is up 60%. This is no leverage trading, no nothing. This is just spot. Now, everybody, I trade my butt off on Blofin and I love it, but I also make sure that I have strong long-term positions in doing things like this, where I'm planning on holding this all the way through 12 to 16 months. And look at this just ripping to the upside. I would be a little concerned for a little bit of a pullback, but the markets are looking good. The markets are feeling good. Watch for a retest down to that $50,000 on Bitcoin at some point. Hey, get in that lab.bitlabacademy.com/Josh. We got that deal expiring. We're going live this afternoon. Josh and I talking about some more super secret hidden gems and some strategy. So use that link. It's going to be expiring. Get in there. 30-day free trial.
Yeah, we'll be breaking down how we research and find altcoins. Kelly, appreciate you as always.
Always a great time.
So you guys definitely want to hop in there, especially if you're new to crypto, right, guys? I have a video here that we just posted last night. Secret Millionaire Crypto Tool. We had a fun with the thumbnail here, guys. But really, really good tool and indicator on helping you be able to navigate this bull run, especially as we start purchasing new altcoins. Let me know in the chat, guys, what altcoins are you starting to look for? Because as Kelly pointed out, you can see that short-term holders are starting to spike, which traditionally means that you're running into the top of a hype cycle. So you want to make sure, guys, you don't want to be purchasing when everybody's greedy and it's all-time highs. You want to be dollar cost averaging into those pullbacks, into those retracements that give you the best possible entry point. So shout out to you guys all for being here. Make sure you go check out that video if you guys are struggling with the emotions. I know psychology of the markets is the hardest thing to master, and that's what that video explores.
What range should we take profits in Bitcoin? It depends on your profile. Are you looking for short-term trades? Well, you know, I don't hate this level for short-term, and I'm saying very small amounts here. Long-term is certainly not now. I'm saying more like 18 months from now. And chat is getting very heated in a discussion talking about steak and eggs and Waffle House. Josh, you just went to Waffle House for the first time, or you still haven't been? Still haven't been. Have you had steak and eggs for breakfast?
Yes.
Now, Nick, they're saying, you know, should I get steak and eggs as my first Waffle House meal? I would say the All-Star, personally. Then you get a waffle. But yeah, steak and eggs, great stuff there. All right, now, especially if they're eggs from Drew.
Oh, yeah.
We used to call him Coop. But Tia didn't like that name, so we call him Druth now. All right, Wall Street. Let's talk about Wall Street. Let's talk about Bitcoin here. Wall Street, what are they saying about the 50K price pump here? Well, Michael Saylor, let's lead with some Michael Saylor quotes here. It's novel, it's digital, it's global, it's unique, it's novel, it's uncorrelated to traditional risk assets because it doesn't come with any exposure to any given country, current company, quarterly result, product cycle. That part's not true. It does. Competitor, not to weather, not to war, not to an employee base or supply chain. Michael Saylor, it definitely has a product cycle. I would say the 4-year halving events are a product cycle. I mean, it's like the definition of a product cycle. But besides that, everything else here is ringing true. You emphasize there's been a decade of accumulated demand for Bitcoin ETFs. This anticipation has now been met, allowing mainstream investors access to Bitcoin if they were scared to write down a seed phrase. In another interview, the Pomp also has a take here. He pointed out in the entire history of 5,500 ETF launches, no fund has ever reached $3 billion in assets and within the first 30 days. And now, January 11th, it's February 15th, 1 month, 4 days, we're already at $4 billion in inflows here. This is a historic first. He stated, the verdict is in. Wall Street doesn't just like Bitcoin, they love Bitcoin. I would agree with that sentiment entirely there.
Yeah. I mean, look, Bitcoin's the first regulated cryptocurrency at this point. It's announced as a digital commodity. It's got the clarity. It's got the financial products. It's got the Wall Street hype. It's got the asset management. It's got the financial products. It's got the advertisements through Google. This is the legitimate store of value that is going to replace gold in my perspective. And that's why I'm incredibly bullish on the layer 2s again, like STAX in chat. Someone said price prediction for 2025 for STAX. I think STAX can reach easily a $20 billion market cap, no problem, like other layer 2s. Like when you saw Polygon, what did Polygon Matic go to? Like 60 billion last cycle? Something that was
sounds right.
Just
Solana was 70 and Polygon was a little under. So yeah, I think 60.
That's insane.
I think that's right.
So it's like STAX is still, I think, at like 3 billion or 4 billion. It's somewhere in that smaller range. We've been talking about it since literally it was at 46 cents. It was like a $300 million market cap. It's a project that I think as Bitcoin continues to grow and just gain more and more dominance, like we see on this article right in front of me, Bitcoin dominance is back above 54%.
Oh, whoa,
and I
way
expect
less.
that to, it's going to decrease.
No, the market cap. It only hit 20.
For Polygon,
yeah, I'm looking at it right here on the charts here. Polygon only hit a $20 billion market cap. Now, Solana hit 70, and for some reason, I thought in my mind Polygon was a little bit below Solana.
No way.
Yeah, and the tail end, it looks like it pumped, about a month or two after Bitcoin pumped, and it hit 20 billion. And if we go to Solana, now I just want to double check just to make sure. Solana, we go to max chart, we hit market cap. Yeah. Solana was in the 70s.
That was 70?
70, yeah. Solana did go to the 70s, but Polygon only 20 billion. So might need to redo some of that moon math there.
I got to redo that moon math. Well, either way, still, wait, so it did hit 20?
Yeah, Polygon hit 20.
I think it can hit 20 as a layer 2. That's
still
Polygon
7x
exactly.
after a 10x.
100%.
I think people like 70x's. Are you going to be upset? Hey, well, we got a guy over here. Are you going to be upset at your 70x? He said a little bit.
He said a little bit.
It's not 100.
Hey, not
round
100x.
numbers scare me. And look, we call this at 46 cents. I'm ecstatic. That would be what?
All right.
40. That'd be a 40x.
I forgot there's a little bit of slippage. It took away 1x. Would you be happy with the 69x? All right. Now we got him. Now we got him, everybody.
Slippery slope.
Well, speaking of slippery, the whales have been shady and slippery with their liquidity pools. Bitcoin whales on the rise as numbers hit 3-year high as the ETFs join cohort. Climbed to 51, now 52 here, and currently 1,600 Bitcoin whales. Whales are going to be entities holding 1,000 Bitcoin or more, aka a cool $50 million in a Bitcoin wallet. Well, we got a considerable uptick from 1,400. Now it's 1,600 was 1,482. Surge not only eclipses the peak of 1,600, but also marks a 3-year high unseen since March 2021. The last bull run of 21, which saw Bitcoin skyrocket from 10K to 60K, conversely triggered a notable decline in whale numbers. Then it went from 1884 to 1601. Applying a profit-taking strategy right there. I would say that's also part of it. Part of it is, all right, you got a wallet, it's worth $1,000. I don't need to split it. I got a wallet worth $1 million. I feel like I want to split it. I got a wallet worth $100 million. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Do you split that wallet? Do you hold it all in one place? I mean, it's a tough question right there.
Like like, you know,
Oh my
just trying
God.
to transfer. Like, and Matt, dude, the transfer on Bitcoin, because it's like 45 minutes. You know how much you got to be, dude. I would be
writing my C phrase. I could be alone in the room, doors locked.
Like,
I would still be looking over my shoulder, like, who's watching me write this down?
Just so happens it becomes one of those congested moments, and like the transaction takes 3 hours to go through. And you're just like, oh my God. Like,
yeah,
no, thank you.
Yeah, my hand would just be shaking on that mouse.
I think I would
at that
rather
point.
do $500 million transfers than having, you know, one giant transfer.
Let's see here. Elizabeth Warren honored Satoshi Nakamoto. That doesn't pass the sniff test. I don't know. I have to look into that one. Paulo, I've been stacking Vechain since June 22 with a daily DCA up and big profit at the moment. Finally, it feels good.
Go.
Like I said, today is the day for the Vechain holders to take a lap of victory, even if you bought at 25 cents. You know, I'm guessing the lessons learned along this way are going to be invaluable for the next 18 months here. 3 billion to 4 billion, only 33% in a month. Weak sauce. All right.
Weak
sauce. I tell you what's weak sauce right here. This analyst
This
saying
trader,
Bitcoin.
He's weak. He's pitiful. No,
what's not weak is the DeLorean. The DeLorean's strong, but the crash to 30%, that could be a little weak. Here's the timeline here. Oh no, it's Rec Capital. I actually like Rec Capital here. Rec Capital is pretty good.
Yeah, he's good.
Well, Rec Capital says in his 54,000 YouTube subscribers, Bitcoin may repeat a historical pattern and crash by up to 30% before the halving event in April. So maybe 20 or 30% decline is at most something that we should be potentially aware occurring in the future, because a pre-halving retracement is going to occur after this pre-halving rally. Now that we've transitioned to this pre-halving rally, we need to look at where we could potentially top out before the halving, because this is where people are buying in anticipation of making a few dollars on the halving hype. And then they sell the rumor, they sell the news essentially here.
Yeah,
so
see, I love this. And by the way, guys, Rec Capital, when you're watching this, we love you. We appreciate you. I want to just point out the fact that he's taken the COVID-19 right here, right? So there was COVID-19. So I don't think we'll anticipate something that big of a drop, just because unless there's it's a black swan, right?
Yeah.
It is a black swan. But I do agree with the anticipation of the lead up to the Bitcoin halving, because what a lot of people don't realize, a lot of people are newer to these markets and they get excited about the Bitcoin halving. Like, the Bitcoin halving is going to cause a bull run. We're going to absolutely explode in price action. Well, notice what he circled: pre-halving retrace. So actually, once the Bitcoin halving takes place, it actually trades sideways, if not drops in value by 10 to 20% after the event. It's a buy the rumor, sell the news event. So I don't necessarily know if this time is going to be a little bit different, just because of the financial products we have now, the advertisement, if we continue to get that lead up. But definitely want to pay attention to that.
I pointed some out in the charts a while ago. I'll point it out again here. Folks, we've just been seeing consistent 20% declines here. If we go to the top, we pull down here. What do we got? 20.95. We do it one more time. What do we got? Looks like, wow, 20.6. Wow, am I seeing a pattern emerge here, everybody? We do it one more time here. What do we got? Wow, 21%, 21. And wait a minute, boom, another 20%. That was another 20%. So, folks, these 20%, I'm not saying they're telegraphed here, but it's been consistently within 1 or 2 percentage points of 20. Look at that again, 21.06. Will we see it again? Now, this is a very dubious line here. I drew this. Who wants to feel a little hopium here? Who wants to feel a little bullish here? You take the length of the breakout here. You know, we started around here. Formed a very not good pennant formation. Folks, I know this is very, very sloppy pennant formation, but wow, look at that price target, $64,000. Can you imagine we flirt with those March, April highs before we get a correction there?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I honestly didn't think it was possible at first, just because I feel like we've been so numbed and dulled from the bear market. We're like, dude, all-time highs by Bitcoin halving, that doesn't exist. But with the amount of volume and inflow we're seeing now, it is very possible. We're what, $15,000 away from all-time highs now? That is just crazy to even think about. $16,000 away from all-time highs.
Crazy, man. You're crazy.
It's insane. That was Bitcoin's low, was 16K. Now we're only 16K away.
Folks, we are going to do a ETH giveaway. We're going to give away $100 of ETH. All you got to do, comment on the video. So just go ahead and do that now. I don't care if you smash your keyboard or tell us a Bitcoin price prediction. Anything will help the algorithm here. We're going to give away $100. Yeah. GameStop, with a very user-friendly name for newbies. Could you scroll up there real quick? It's just below the no. All right, we already passed it there. GameStop. If I had to start, what should I get first? Thank you. I would choose a coin in the top 10. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano. I would go with one of those. I wouldn't immediately go into a small cap, mid cap gem. Crypto Grady, what's going on? Big shout out to Crypto Grady. All right, Genesis. Well, actually, do you got some advice? What coin should he get first?
It depends. I mean, we're both different ages, and everybody has different risks and different, lives.
Just in a vacuum.
Don't know if you have, I'm in a vacuum. So this is what I'm going to put it. I'm going to just put a break even. This is what we're looking at. Let's say you have $5,000. You're just getting started. You have little to no debt, and you're looking to invest. Okay, that's what I'm going. This is my perspective. I would put that into 2 large caps like Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think people they undervalue Bitcoin entirely because the whole goal of my portfolio is to get as much Bitcoin as possible. So I take profit and move it into Bitcoin. And then with the other half, I'd put into mid caps and some, lower caps and start just learning.
Nick would have you mining coin number 1400 in coin market cap rank, and you got to like download this like really weird mining software.
If you're not downloading a GitHub wallet, then just not gonna get money.
Yeah. Is that Crypto Grady?
Yeah. We
What's
got
up,
Grady,
beautiful?
Grady in the chat, everybody. Just normalize saying you might be downloading a virus. Are you sure? Yeah, sure, man. Let's just mine this thing. All right, Genesis. Let's do a little FUD. No, now it's time for fear. Now I'm going to shake you out of the markets. I'm going to make you sell your Bitcoin. Genesis secures court approval to sell Grayscale Bitcoin shares worth $1.3 billion. Folks, I wouldn't worry about this too much. We had outflows of Grayscale yesterday. You know how much BlackRock bought yesterday? $600 million. Basically half that.
That's it. It's light work. That's some light work.
That's
this is getting
lightweight, baby.
And you're telling me that these asset managers and all of these officials don't work together and talk behind the scenes before they leak this to the public.
100%.
It's like this was priced into the market 100%. There was a lot of retail FUD because what wasn't priced in was the initial sell-off with the inflows. But honestly, if I was BlackRock, and now I look back and I sit at this, I would imagine they were constantly competing with their fees, their trading fees. So they knew it would cause a short-term dip and cause more inflow into their own ETF fund. So that was kind of just a strategic play in the short term from my perspective. So seeing Genesis, get this 1.3 billion, that's nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing. They're also going to sell a little bit of the ETH the ETH future trust here, to the tune of 200 million. But the 1.3 Bitcoin ETFs, Grayscale, the GBTCs. That's going to be a little bit of selling pressure to keep an eye out on, everybody. Missouri. Hey, shout out to Missouri. It's the show me state, right, Nick?
Got anybody from Missouri here?
Yeah.
Show me state. All right. Show me how much you love the channel by hitting that like button, everybody. All right. Missouri, it's your time. We've never talked about that state in the history of this channel. We're talking about it today. They enshrine the right to trade Bitcoin into law. I would say this is pretty good here. So in 2023, Missouri, Arkansas, and Montana, for example, Joe Montana, for example, started working on creating and passing laws that would guarantee the rights.
I feel like you need to read this
miners.
article with the Southern accent.
I can't do it, man. You know what? It comes out a little bit
really
here and there anyway. So you know what? How are y'all doing? Hey, y'all, if y'all want to go ahead, hit that like button, man. I certainly appreciate it.
You don't have Southern accents in Missouri. Oh, my God.
Yeah, what is there?
It's Midwestern.
It's Midwestern.
It's the Midwest. Or you can't get any more Midwest than Missouri.
Midwest. All right. Well, I've been to Missouri, checked out the river,
It's
the
like
Mississippi.
The third, Kansas City's like the third murder capital of the United States.
Yeah, they call it Killa City.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know that. Yeah,
Chicago,
Kansas City is known as Killa City. You know what? I hope those people that were caught, I want them to release the names, and I hope they are prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
And deported.
And if some inmates in that place, I don't care.
You
That's
have
all I'm
Kev
going to
saying
say.
he's thinking about selling a kidney to buy Bitcoin. I think you could do that in Kansas or Missouri. That would be the place. I think.
Oh, it's enshrined. It's enshrined. It's enshrined. Your ability to wake up in a bathtub with stitches. They've enshrined that right.
I totally segued this conversation.
In a session, normally it's a joint session, but I guess this wasn't a joint session. In a session held, the House Bill 2107, the Blockchain Basics Act, which aims to safeguard the right to buy, self-custody, and mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Missouri just fighting the good fight here. Sponsored with the help of the Satoshi Action Fund. So big shout out to them. Just doing what we should all be doing, and that's fight for our freedoms, fight for our right to party. All right, Elizabeth Warren scores a win in her crusade. Biden nominee pledges crypto recusals here. But I just want to jump to the main Elizabeth Warren story here. Pro XRP and friend of the channel, John Deaton, may run against Elizabeth Warren in 2024 elections.
Bullish.
Josh, can you take a little victory lap on this? A little
He called it.
background.
Hang on.
Maybe paint the scene here. I'll paint the scene here while he does his little victory lap. John Deaton came on the channel about 2-3 weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. This is crypto. Time doesn't work normally. And we suggested to him, I can't remember if you or, we brought up politics. Would you ever consider, he initially scoffed at the idea.
He guffawed.
I have to find the clip. I'm going to pull up the clip in just a second.
Hard guffaw.
John E. Deaton, none other than the pro XRP lawyer that has been a huge advocate and a spearhead to financial regulation for the positive impact on retailers. He's all retail focused, is looking to potentially, was it announced? I didn't even read the article just yet, to run against, it's potentially here, pro XRP lawyer John may run against Elizabeth Warren
serious look.
in 2024.
Yeah, he's taking a serious look. So he's taking a serious look at the upcoming Senate election. Warren has represented that since first elected in 2013. So she's at 11 years at this point. And Jim Conroy revealed that he's been consulting with Deaton, and the latter will decide regarding the Senate race in the coming days. Who is Jim Conroy? Well, he sounds like he has a Cadillac dealership in Georgia, but no, he's a former advisor to the 72nd governor of Massachusetts. So I would say we got a governor advisor. He probably knows the power players in Massachusetts. He knows where Ted Kennedy's burying the bodies.
I think Johnny Deaton
Allegedly.
could easily get the entire blockchain associations and everything that are being funded by Coinbase. I think he can get a lot of funding and backing behind him. I'm concerned with he's got my vote, hands down, 100%. I'd be voting. Elizabeth Warren, though, is disgustingly powerful.
Yes.
Unfortunately, she is the reason why Biden actually got elected, and that probably just made a lot of people mad. But that's why she ran in 2020 elections. She actually kept running so that way Bernie Sanders would not overcome any majority vote. That was her position and her purpose. And so the Biden administration has a lot of value to it. There's a lot of honorability to that. So she holds a very power political position, but I am 100% down to do everything in my power to back Johnny Deaton and actually pursue that against Elizabeth Warren. I just think we might have another 6 years of her, unfortunately.
Now, his name is John E. Deaton. Did you call him John E. Deaton or Johnny Deaton?
John E.
Okay, I was just wondering. If he wants to be called Johnny, I'll call him Johnny.
Johnny.
All right. Well, maybe there's a little bit of cracks in the house of cards that is holding up Elizabeth Warren here. I found it pretty fascinating. Polls conducted in 2023 show that only 2 out of 5 residents in Massachusetts view her candidacy favorably. Where are the other 3 people thinking? Are they going to come out to vote? Will the mail-in ballot? I don't know. I'm kidding. Now I digress.
What did the Latvians have to say?
What do the what have to say?
The Latvians?
The Latvians have to say.
Because you said the polls conducted.
Okay. Balkans humor there, kind of. All right. Ripple, CLO.
Speaking of XRP.
Yeah, Chief Legal Officer for Ripple here. Ripple Labs bashes the SEC as a police state agency. Here's why. Bashed it like Charlie bashes rats. Let's see here. In a post on X, Stuart Alderoide, the Chief Legal Officer at Ripple, has vehemently denounced the SEC's approach under the leadership of Gensler, leveraging a discussion initiated by Paul Grewal. We're also big fans of him. He's the CLO of Coinbase. They didn't mince words, portraying the SEC's operations as akin to those as a police state. That's something we've been screeching from the rooftops for years here. The statement was clear and pointed. Please read this thread from the CLO of Coinbase here. Under Gensler and its enforcement director, Gerber Grewal, no relation, the SEC behaves as it operates in a police state exempt from the consequences of its actions. Enough is indeed enough. The clarion calls for Gensler's ouster is just growing louder and louder and louder. To me, it's a siren song.
It's weird
filling
to
me
see,
with hope.
Yeah, like a crypto CEO basically call out the deep state, be like, guys, the deep state's a problem. Be like, yeah, no crap.
Yeah, it's
Speaking
just,
of the choir,
I mean, first and foremost, their job is literally to police financial markets. They're literally supposed to enforce regulation and sue companies that obviously end up being bad actors. But where they go wrong is with the latter part of that, which is, he said, with exempt from the consequences of the actions. And that's why we need senators replaced like Elizabeth Warren, because they're just mouthing pieces for a deeper issue, a systematic problem that's both Republican and Democrats, both left and right, that we need to start really overcoming. And that's so, honestly, shout out to Johnny Deaton again. I would love to see him actually run and advocate for that, because this is where we need to start enforcing the consequences on these regulatory bodies when they mess up, when they make a mistake. The SEC releasing and getting hacked before the greatest financial product ever launches with retail. We're seeing billions upon billions of dollars flood into this. And retail got the short end of the stick. They're shorting or longing the market based off the SEC's decisions. Literally, the SEC has said only make investment decisions based off our tweets or whatever. Like, it's paraphrasing. But they've made like numerous tweets where they said only listen to us. And listening to them is what wrecked retailer and allowed Wall Street to walk away with even more money. So honestly, shout out to the CTO here, CLO, Chief Legal Officer of Ripple, because the SEC needs to go. Unfortunately, they won't go, but we need to start holding them accountable.
Got to hold him accountable. But Tig bringing up a really good point here. Firing him implies he'll be replaced by someone better. That is not always the case in Congress. And I keep calling him by his last name. What's his first name? Arms?
Samuel Arms. Yes. Sam. He made a good point.
Yeah, that was something he was kind of pointing out.
Because it's like choosing like the lesser of two evils. So, right, like, for example, this is how politics is like a game of Risk. If you've ever played that game, it's all about taking over a local part to spread to a state level.
Putting all my chips in Australia.
Exactly. So you can actually make effective change in the United States if you go to the state, like literally to your local community. You can build up pretty quickly and make really strong connections. So as someone like, I think you said Gary Gensler, right, was what he was referring to, and who he'd be replaced by. There is also maybe you're a Republican and you don't believe everything Democrats are saying, but there's going to be a point in your life and your career. For example, we're very pro-crypto, where some of your original political beliefs may need to be sidestepped because you need to do what's best for your company and your brand and your development and whatever is starting to thrive, which in this case would be crypto. So you could replace Gensler with someone that still has the same beliefs, but is just pro-crypto. And so it's kind of choosing like, it's still not someone I'd really, really like, but it's someone we can actually fight back against.
Gensler?
What's that?
Gary Gensler was pro-crypto 2018, 2019. If you listen to his MIT speeches, I was looking at a lot of his MIT speeches last night. So we never know. Something happens to him, some sort of pod person replacement, or some sort of switch in the back of their head. Something pops up and it's like the little alien in Men in Black. I don't know what happens. Something happens though. They get in there, I love Bitcoin. I love blockchain technology. I'm going to shill algo. And then they go in there. Then it's a complete 180, everybody. If you don't know, there's videos of our current SEC chairman pumping Algorand for some reason. And then you see, oh, wait, aren't they working with the Clinton Foundation?
You're a guaranteed scam artist if you pump algo.
They did do work with SEWA, SEWA. It's a Southeastern Women's Alliance in India, but so did the Clinton Foundation. So that is a funny coincidence, right? That Algo has a Clinton connection and a Gary Gensler connection there. But, it's probably coincidental.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, can you pull up Maxine Waters' famous photo real quick while I read this article?
I'll pull that up. I was going through all of them. That was my bad.
House hearing on FinCEN oversight turns into a crypto debate. If you don't recognize this individual, her name is Maxine Waters, serves on this committee here. During this committee hearing Wednesday, several lawmakers chose to shine a light on the cryptocurrencies and how they are or are not being used to fund illicit activities here. So they're looking at the FinCEN and the Office of Terrorism Financial Intelligence Oversight hearing. Witnesses were FinCEN director and a couple feds, everybody. The witnesses were a couple feds. In an October letter to the NSA, Democrat lawmakers cited an article from the debunked Wall Street Journal article, which claimed Hamas had raised millions in crypto. Many in the space found the journal's statistic not troubling, provenly inaccurate. What the is going on here, Blockworks? It was proven inaccurate, but Treasury already has the data, so Treasury has a response. Do they have a responsibility to correct the record here? We're going to pull up the photo.
Yeah, pull up the photo right here. It's ready to go. Yeah, you can see that Maxine Waters is standing right next to Sam Bankman-Fried right here. So it's just really
our body language experts weigh in.
Weigh into what this actually means.
She is not into him physically.
Well,
I've studied it, but
Maxine Waters is an extremely dangerous person.
But pretty much happened, guys, was this guy.
I see three telltale signs that she's not into him.
This guy funded this woman, and now this guy won't put this person in jail, which means that this person who's staring off into the camera is looking at the. No, I'm just kidding. We're just going off on a tangent here. But essentially, guys, she has connections to Sam Bankman-Fried, and he donated a lot of money to that party.
Well, Representative Brad Sherman, a Democrat out of California, asked witnesses, what's being done about cryptocurrency? A financial instrument, he says, it threatens our U.S. authority. I have opposed cryptocurrencies whose promoters have made it plain that they regard the U.S. dollar as an illegitimate player on the world stage. They regard our sanctioned policies and efforts to affect world policy as illegitimate. They're promoting crypto in part to defang the United States federal government. No, you have defanged the US dollar, and Bitcoin is our only escape hatch. It's our only freaking parachute because you're defanging our ability to buy a gallon of milk, to buy freaking peanuts, gas. I can't buy any of these things. You know how many people are priced out of homes? They can't afford rent. 7 people living in one house. It's not supposed to be this way, folks. So they've defanged the dollar. Don't listen to them. Oh, Bitcoin's defanging the federal government. You defanged yourself. All right. Well, one more sentence here. Koppel, the head of legal at Blockchain Association, said in a statement last month that the proposal is far too broad in scope and application. Yeah, you can't give, in any jurisdiction, you can't give the government broad language because they will bastardize the meaning of the words.
Yeah, if you give them an inch and they will take like a space mile. It's just like none of it. Government is born. The purpose of government is to expand.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and so when you see things like concise and timely manner, you're like, well, what the heck does that mean?
Yeah,
you know,
timely,
like, it meant 2 years for me. Like, that's how long that study on the waterfowl nesting migration path took?
Yeah, it's kind of like the soft landing topic, which I pulled up the chart. That's what I was trying to find right now was, just this whole, when you start hearing everybody scream one thing, you need to start being cautious, saying, okay, if everybody thinks we're going to go up, does that mean we're going to continue higher, or are we going to see a pullback or whatnot? And in the next terms is going to be soft landing. If anybody remembers economists talking about in warnings, the hard landing, we're going to have some crazy crash in 2021. Everybody's screaming, oh, this is the top of the market. We're going to go to zero. We're going to go back to COVID lows. And it never came, right? We actually saw new all-time highs for the stock market, the NASDAQ, of course, your Dow Jones, everything. And now Bitcoin is approaching that as well. So soft landing, guys, soft landing, an economist warns of hard landing or no landing for U.S. economy, but soft landing is actually starting to increase. So this article headline is kind of misinformation.
And we're going to end the video with a 3-minute video by Ian Carroll where, he talks about this, or maybe we'll just play the first half because, there's some very scary data with soft landings.
We got to pull that up later.
We'll play it at the end. You'll get freaked out when you see how often they're bringing up soft landings.
So historically, what I pulled up right here, guys, was the federal fund rates and recessions in terms of when people start talking about soft landings. You can see in 1966, everybody was talking about this is going to be a soft landing. We ended up running into a recession in 1971. I got to pull up a better one. I'm going to pull up another one later in this video.
We got it in the video.
Let me pull it up.
Maybe we'll go ahead and we could just play the thing. Maybe
I got to get the good one, dude. Soft landing.
He's got a good one, folks. We'll go through a couple tweets here. Then I'll show it. Well, one, we keep scrolling here. All right, Nick, did you see my post here?
The acorn.
Who posted it?
I posted this. I got the clip and everything.
No, the soft landing one.
Oh, Ian Carroll.
He posted that too?
That was in that video.
Oh,
that was in the second half of that video. I'm gonna play the video.
I was trying to find it. I was like, where did he find that?
Shout out to Garris Holloway. They call him Barris Holloway. The man does do some good trades, and boy, do they love to fade his shorts. Even if it plays out, or he'll be very open. Yeah, I took a little loss, but then I longed it from here. They'll never bring up the longs, but they love bringing up the shorts there. These were the ETF inflows we were talking about yesterday, and we're going to play this video, folks. This video
this is so cool.
Ian is absolutely one of the best content creators currently.
Yeah. You know what? Let's just do it, man. This is a really...
Send it.
All right, send it. Guys, you're going to love this.
Upload?
Yeah.
24. So I know I made all these videos fear-mongering that the economy was screwed and banks were going to collapse, but we have data now. The inflation data just came out for January, and it really clearly shows that everything is fine.
This is going to show you how much of a lie they were telling you with the inflation data that came out earlier this week. I had no idea it was Banana Republic style lies. This is Soviet Union style lies. It's one thing I feel like, well, this 4% number feels weird when steak and eggs and milk are up this much, but they must have finagled the math in a way where they weighted certain things. This just makes it seem like it is 100% false. It's just lies, folks.
See, overall inflation
this will blow you away.
3.1% now. It's way down. And then they break down all the different components of inflation so that you know why it's 3.1%. And they certainly have omitted certain parts. These are just certain highlights, like how juice and non-carbonated drinks are up 30%. Steak is up 10%.
Wait a minute, that's higher than 3.1%.
Yep.
Baby food up 8.7%. Sugar up 7%. They say that food is only at 2.6% inflation.
What?
None of these are anywhere near 2.6%. Same with food away from home. I'm no mathematician, but... And then we scroll down. Motor vehicle insurance, 20%. Household repair, 20%. Admission to sporting events, 13%. Tax return preparation, 11%. Well,
you have to
none of these...
pause it right there, guys. Did he like that one? Tax, that 11% more to file your taxes now. So it's costing more to even file your taxes.
Shout out to Decrypted.
Not only are taxes up, but yeah, you have to pay more to tax now.
Shout out to Decrypted.tax. He's got no more meetings this week. It's Thursday, but next week, I know he has at least 2. So go ahead and try to get your free hour-long consultation.
Components are even below 4%. They're almost all above 5%. What the fuck? Yet somehow all of this adds up.
Language warning.
Along with
he
all
never
of
cusses
this,
too,
that
so it's
averages
fun.
out to 3.1%. Just so you know. I know. The biggest part of the CPI, because they weight it differently, so certain things are more important, like people pay a lot for housing. So housing is weighted really heavily when they calculate the consumer price index, which is funny. Because in that same article, shelter inflation is up 6% in the last 12 months.
So the thing that they weight the most, meaning it has the most value for this 3.1% number, the biggest weight is 6%. What the hell have we seen that's under 3%?
And that is the most heavily weighted metric of the CPI. So they're cooking the books and inflation is still up at 3.1%. It's definitely way above that. But what I think is the best chart of all time, so you know all these news articles like the New York Times.
This is where it gets really scary, folks. This is what we're talking about.
So cushy in America. Don't you feel like your life is really cushy right now?
Ooh, soft landing.
Published just a week or 2 ago. Everyone's reporting about the soft landing right now and about how great the economy is going to be. But Bloomberg did a study where
That's the chart.
Added up the total number of news articles mentioning soft landings across all publications. And that is a reverse indicator for recessions and depressions.
What?
So right before the dot-com bubble, mentions of soft landings in news articles.
So the big black spike is the news headlines, and then the yellow is a time of economic turmoil.
Spiked. Right before 2008, mentions of soft landings in news articles spiked. And this is where we are at now with
Look how high it
of
is.
soft landings.
Yes. It's and for chat saying, you know,
and that's pretty much the video right there. So yeah, what are you gonna say? Go ahead.
My point to that in perspective and why I wanted to pull that up. A fantastic video. So someone in chat said right here, this is a great question. You guys should just leave America if you're having such a bad time here. And Metaspot, it's a great point, right? You hear a lot of people complain. The difference is we're not here to complain necessarily about those metrics. We're here to make a ton of money, a disgusting amount of money, and being able to understand and get ahead of these markets from understanding, okay, if everybody is hyped up and FOMOing out right now, we could and maybe should, start rotating profits into commodities. So Bitcoin is a commodity. It's starting to trade as a gold, as a silver, as a copper, and I expect it to replace that in the very near term. I don't expect the dollar to just collapse, but in any market, guys, financial markets are literally just made out of thin air. The reason why they exist is because of me, DZ, you guys, and these markets. Financial markets aren't just created randomly. It's based off fear and greed. It's based off buyers and sellers. And so if you can kind of start to get ahead of where those buyers and sellers are going to pivot, that is the purpose of understanding these things. So seeing these soft landings come back into the picture, everybody's screaming, oh, we're going to all-time highs. Well, all those same analysts, this happens in crypto with creators too. Remember everybody at 15K Bitcoin, they're like, oh, we're going to go lower. DZ, we're going to go to 10K, we're going to go to 9K, we're going to go to 3K. And all those people end up sitting on the sideline. By the time Bitcoin's at 20, 25, 30, 45, 50K, they're in complete disbelief. They're in complete denial. And some of them are actually perma-bears because they are just so connected to their emotional state. They can't let go and just admit and be humiliated that they were wrong. So that way, when we go to an all-time high, like $69,000 Bitcoin, all of a sudden they all come back and go, hey, we're going to go to 100K. We're going to go to 150K. And that's like your, strong telling and early sign of what he just showed in that map with the soft landings, right? We're going to go to all-time highs. That traditionally leads to a recession.
You know what? You actually brought up Japanese yen here. Bitcoin yen pair is at an all-time high, everybody. So Bitcoin's at an all-time high in Japan right now.
Okay, I want
to answer our Tomco's question first.
Okay,
go ahead.
Answer that question, then I'll disagree.
All right, our Tomco. So why are you guys fighting crypto adoption by supporting anti-crypto bricks? That is just false mind reading. Never, ever, ever have supported bricks. We have said, well, the value of their currencies might outpace the value of America's currency, the US dollar. And, if you look at the reserves of these countries, that thesis seems like it's going to play out. But yeah, I mean, good. That's such a weird false mind reading.
Shout out to all the new people in here, honestly, because if you guys watch us, we're very pro US dollar. In fact,
We're
actually,
very
like
pro.
completely.
Okay.
I'm bearish on bricks and definitely. But,
So-
Not relative to Bitcoin or gold, though.
No, but it's important to understand, like, okay, well, what if that dream and that narrative of a gold-backed currency ever actually took place? What would that mean for other currencies? You know, these things don't happen overnight. They don't happen in one presidency. They don't happen in two presidencies. They happen in multitudes of decades. So that's just getting ahead of the curve. But what's most important right now, guys, is the fact that we've been right on crypto this entire time for the last decade. We're about to see an immense amount of FOMO come back into this industry as we break all-time highs. We're only 15K away. This is going to be the most bullish market we have ever seen. So we need to prepare ourselves for that by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and we're only 8 likes away from me showing you guys those hidden gems that we promised at the beginning of this video. So love all of you guys for being here. Thank you for all the support.
Okay, he brings up a good point. Well, what currency do they have? Though they have individual currencies, and if you look at the rubles reserves and what Indonesia's doing, I'm talking about their individual currencies. I haven't looked at every single BRICS nation's reserves, the strength of their currency relative to dollar, but some of the larger countries.
We're bullish on one country specifically.
I mean,
which is India. I'm bullish on
whose
India.
debt to GDP ratio is going to be better over the next 10 years? Saudi Arabia or America? You know, given our current situation, you know, it seems
we only
like
have $34 trillion in debt, Daisy. It's not that bad, right? There's a small
not
loan
that bad.
with only like a 10% interest. So it's only like $1 trillion a year in interest. It's nothing crazy.
It's not that
doable.
Bad. It's doable.
We have a printer that we put a paper into and it comes out green.
Some say we could grow out of it, right? All right, let's talk a little Ethereum here, everybody. We have a couple more stories we want to cover for sure. ETH staking deposits hit $85 billion. 1 out of 4 ETH is now locked up. So, you know, that ecosystem, I think, actually has been performing pretty well. Where are we at right now? Is it 2,800?
For what price? Ethereum right now? Let me get a little refresher here.
It is 2,833. We've been saying it's going to be pumping pretty hard for, you know, given its market cap size. And it looks like it did pretty good here. You could have got in 2,100 in January. Wow, I didn't know it was that cheap in January relative to today. So, yeah, ETH has been doing great. We said, hey, look at ETH after Bitcoin pumps. Look at ETH, and it looks like ETH did its thing there. And then meanwhile, the ETH whales are stacking even more. They stacked another $200 million in February. So you know, ETH is looking pretty good on just lately. 2014, I said, 2024, I said, outperform Bitcoin. So far, I think I'm right. So I'll continue to monitor that. Let's see. Here's how Ethereum could speed up from recent underperformance. I would say it's not largely underperforming here. Eigen near 7 billion TVL.
I wanted to point out, Vechain is up like 30%, right?
Yes.
VThor is up 143% this week.
VThor.
Yeah,
nice.
So the gas token for the network there. I wanted to pull that up really quick because I just saw it. But
all right, good job.
That's crazy. That's freaking crazy.
What else we got? Let's see, 11:36 here. I wonder, Australia, they're cutting the power off for 6 hours a day. Laserface, that doesn't sound right. Is that true? What province is that? I don't think that's like...
They're in the Outback.
Yeah, you're in the Outback. I don't think they're doing that in
like
Sydney.
Yeah.
We're going to run this
Melbourne?
old credit debt system into the ground while using it to fund other things and switch to a crypto economy and ditch this old system. So our Tomkas, I don't think they're just going to switch to a CBDC and then just convince the world to not worry about the $37 trillion in debt or whatever that number is at that time. China's going to be like, no, you still owe me that money. Japan's going to think the same. So, yeah, I mean, hey, in a perfect world, we'll just delete the debt. I don't know how the other 770...
Can we just forgive it?
7.7 billion people will feel about that. Let's see here. Yeah, VThor chain up 138% here.
Yeah, it's wild to see. VChain's popped off, which is, guys, we smashed through the like button. So I wanted to give them my hidden gem first. I know you might have one as well you want to share. Do you want to wait a little bit?
I'm just going to give another round of applause to Chainlink. They're going to working with Telefonica. If you don't know who that is, it's the largest Latin America phone provider. It's a little bit bigger than the average Chainlink partnership. Average Chainlink integration is going to be basically trying to stop SIM swap attacks.
That's so bullish that you just said that. You know, it's a little bit bigger than the average Chainlink partnership.
Yeah,
just
it's a little bit bigger than,
you know,
that little that random NFT platform that like updates their NFT once a week. They're like, yeah, we burn 2 Chainlink a week. No, it's a little bit bigger than that. But what do you got for alts here?
Yeah, for altcoins, we have Eigenlayer nearing $7 billion in total value locked. We have a video coming out on that very, very soon. You're going to want to pay attention to that video being released. Of course, you have the Chainlink one. Citibank, though, managing $759 billion, announces altcoin network of choice to implement planned new features. Now, was this the Citibank one and the Chainlink feature that you talked about, or is this a new one? It is a new one. It is Avalanche. So Avalanche really starting to become potentially that next Solana. This is a talk that's starting to start spreading through Twitter and X right now, however you want to call it. But Avalanche getting a little bit more storm, a little bit more volume, and a little bit more exposure to these big institutions. So tokenization of private equity funds utilizing AVAX with Citibank. So that's a massive proof of concept. Let me know in the chat, guys, who holds AVAX. I hold actually probably like 40 tokens right now on our MetaMask, but let me know of the altcoins you're holding on AVAX.
I got an AVAX deep cut. I shared it in the Avalanche video here, and we share my screen here. I'm going to hide the name. This is the 3-month chart. I got in, it hit my radar after this spike right here. I looked into the project, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Made the video, I think, on the closer end. So you had time to get in cheap. I had no idea it was going to do that, but Benki, QI, Benki pumped, folks, right now, you're looking at this chart, you're like, well, it looks like it might be a little bit of upside here. Hold on. Are you wearing underwear? Because this is going to blow your back out. Wait a minute. Look at that chart. Everybody. Now, I don't know if you go to market cap here, you can see, oh, okay, well, there's a little bit of issues there, but retail is not going to look at that. Retail is going to look at this right here, and then they're going to get very, very bullish on this one. So I would keep an eye out on Key. Yeah. I'm pretty bullish on this coin right here. It's Avalanche DeFi.
Avalanche DeFi. I was going to jump on that one too. Was Joe. Joe's
good too.
Joe was one of the best performers here. Hit $3.33 in 2021. Only at 55 cents still, so not even close to all-time high. And this is the Uniswap of AVAX, guys. And traditionally, those sushi swaps, those Uniswaps, they perform highly, especially in a bull run as more and more transaction volume starts to occur on their network. So really close. I'd pay close attention to Joe here. It's actually up a ton right now in the last month, from 41 cents up to 55 cents. What do you got for us, brother?
Joe flipped PancakeSwap in volume.
That was the article right here that I was supposed to pull up with it. Thank you for reminding me.
I got it highlighted here. Yeah, Trader Joe now the second largest DEX after Uniswap here, according to Token Terminal. And they did $142 million in trading last day, with 98% of the fees from Avalanche ecosystem here. And it looks like this one is this high throughput blockchain whose on-chain activity has been rising in recent months here. Trader Joe also confirmed that they had over 100 million in its liquidity book here. Trader Joe processed $200K in fees, above the $151K by PancakeSwap. And it looks like that is still less than half that is recorded by Uniswap. The XX active on multiple platforms and blockchains, including BNB chain. So yeah, well, I will say this: Uniswap has multiple chains. Maybe Joe will, take a page from that book, and then Joe can end up consistently beating Uniswap. I got out of Uni. I put all my Uni in ARB and OP. Did great, but Uniswap is up 7%. Mm-hmm. I was a buyer in like this dip right here. So, don't
wait till
listen to me
comes
when it
in.
comes to
Retail's
Uniswap.
starting to come in. We can see it in the short-term holding accounts and everything that are being built. But as retail comes in, guys, these are the ecosystems that explode. And I don't know if we have one or two more. I think we have top cryptos we need to watch here on top of Cosmos.
Yeah, Adam has been blown up. We did some videos on Cosmos. We have, we talk about the wallets. DYDX, Thorchain, and Osmosis.
Osmosis is actually sick, and that's going to be another, you don't have to wait for tonight's video. That is going to be coming out as well, actually, either tonight or sometime in the next couple of days. It's almost finished being edited. So you definitely want to pay attention and look out for that ecosystem, because there's a lot of growth.
And Masari finally showed a little love to Cardano. I'll go ahead and splash cold water on this story here. Published a new performance report for Cardano, which among the top 10 cryptocurrencies. I tweeted about it, and if we go to my account here, you'll see the bad news, I guess, so to say here. Gary Gensler, Acorn falling. I started credit where credit is due. Masari reported on Cardano, and it sounds like they actually did some research. With a dedicated community of users and devs, Cardano has demonstrated staying power. The two most used apps, MinSwap, Liquid Finance here. Someone very quickly chimed in, though. Let's see. Wait for it. Charles paid for this, right? It's a pay-to-play model. Looks like IOG did commission this report, but I mean, I don't think Masari is like a pay-to-play situation, though. If I had to guess, though. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, on top of this, guys, I'm going to give you my hidden gem, because you guys absolutely destroyed and smashed through that like threshold we were looking for. So shout out for all of you guys in the chat. Tron unveiled a Bitcoin Layer 2 solution today or this week with a strategic new roadmap. So this goes back to the narrative I've been screaming from the rooftop, guys. You have Bitcoin Layer 2s really starting to skyrocket here and gain a lot of steam from the industry. So in this article, I'll just break through what they have first and then show you this hidden gem. But Justin Sun, the founder of Tron, recently took to X to announce a significant development in the blockchain sector. Tron is set to launch its Bitcoin Layer 2 solution, aiming to bridge the gap between Tron's extensive network and, of course, Bitcoin. Tron boasts a total value locked of $22 billion with the expensive ecosystem of Bitcoin. So this is just bullish for the DeFi that can actually be integrated into that. And what do you need to integrate these products, right? There's going to be a lot of ecosystems, whether it's Ethereum, ICP, all these networks are going to look to natively or somehow create a Bitcoin Layer 2 solution. They're all starting to be developed. What they're going to need are AMMs. They're going to need automated market makers. They're going to be needing DEXs, something similar to a Joe, to your Uniswaps, etc. And the product I'm showing you guys today, it is new because Bitcoin Layer 2s, guys, are only like a month to 2 month old. So be very cautious. Do your own research, but it's going to be Ordi Swap here. And that is ORDISWA.
A little bit of a sale.
Yeah, a little bit of a, well, it hasn't moved. It's really like just stagnant trading sideways. I expect the Bitcoin Layer 2 narrative to really build up probably towards the halving because of the Nakamigo upgrade for STAX we talked about earlier in the stream. Most of your upgrades are coming around that range. And right now, guys, hundreds of millions, if not billions at this point, of dollars are coming into Bitcoin Layer 2 development. So it's going to take a few months to even see a lot of the first initial products, but they're coming. It's here. It's a narrative you want to pay attention to.
And we'll end with Eric Wall's take on Justin Sun building out on the Bitcoin Layer 2 ecosystem. Eric Wall, famous Bitcoiner. Oh, for F's sake.
Oh,
all right,
my
folks,
bad.
that's all we got. Folks.
I was reading the... That's all we got for you guys. We have Morgan Powell coming in saying AVAX price guesses on the coming bull run. Honestly, I think AVAX can just really get to similar market caps it had last all-time high. So if I pulled it up for you really quick,
$100.
as we get that outro music coming out, $42. So all-time high was at a $140 market cap. I think AVAX can easily break through that all-time high. Guys, thank you for watching today. Much love.